Hi, it's Maya. Today is January 14th, 2020, and I'm doing a reading on a situation that I keep seeing coming up in my own readings, and I wasn't sure whether this was a personal thing for me, but now I'm seeing it in someone else's, so it looks like an outside event. And I wanted greater clarity on this because I see an outside event happening that kind of stops the world in its tracks, no matter where you are, what you're doing. With me, it looks like I'll be in the process of moving or just having moved close to around this event. So let's just take a look. I've already shuffled, so I'm hoping I don't get interrupted. But if I do, I'll just put this on pause and just do the best I can. Bear with me. I am doing remodeling and on bed rest, so my production value here is a little bit less. So here we go. You ready? All right. This is going to be in a Celtic cross spread, just so I can kind of zone in a bit. Okay. Well, we have the Four of Swords covering, and I'm doing this from the universe's perspective. I'm asking the universe to give me clarity so that my own biases or whatever aren't going to kind of taint my ability to look at this. But let's just hope for the best. So our first card covering a situation that I keep seeing is the Four of Swords. My unease with this just at the moment is because I keep seeing like the Tower and death. Okay. Now that can just be like a really radical change, but it can also be, a change that will involve death, actual physical death. So this card sometimes is like you can see there's a casket, a tomb, and there's Our Lady. It's like a church window. Almost feels like a mausoleum or something. But usually this card, the Four of Swords, indicates a withdrawal. It is inactivity to heal. You're not, doing a lot. You need to heal. There's healing involved that takes time. Sometimes it's illness and your need to recuperate. But it can also be about peace of mind, being at peace. So let's just carry on, see what's going on. We don't know how this is one of those cards that doesn't jump right out. You got to kind of see what the other cards are around it. Especially in this case, because I'm saying, what is this that's coming? Am I interpreting this correctly? Yeah, look at that. Okay, it's crossed by the Knight of Swords. So this is, let's just look at the Knight. Look at the clouds. It's jagged. It's sudden. It's so sudden that the trees are bending a bit here and swaying, and their leaves are all pulled in this great gust of wind. So this indicates something that comes in at great speed. Great speed. It is sudden. It is with the swords. It is directed. It has a target. But it is sudden and it is swift, and that is also with the tower. When you get the tower, it is something that reaches a target, it lands, and it's destructive. So this is our peace, our relative peace, being at peace, chill, if you will. That's going to be suddenly disrupted. Something crosses us that is somebody sending something out. Someone's activity is going out, and it's targeted. It is by also swords of a militant kind of nature. I feel like this is some sort of an attack or an emergency that would certainly involve specialized personnel type to respond to it. But I feel like more this is like, okay, this thing's gonna mess up people's like chill. It's gonna mess up people's peace initially, because this comes in suddenly and disrupts this relatively stable calm pattern with the 4. That's going to get disrupted. Basis is the 10 of Wands, a tension that has the straw. There's going to be some kind of straw that's going to break some kind of camel's back. Some kind of tension that is building. You know? Look at that again. All right. I'm also thinking volcanic. I do feel and have been getting readings that do show volcanic activity. I think we will have that affecting weather and stuff coming. So just heads up, y'all. I'm just telling you. Don't get like panicked, but because that's not good. Just be aware. Be thoughtful to your travel, that sort of thing. Okay? I keep dropping shit. Excuse me. Shish. It's crowned by the 2 of Wands. So it involves some sort of a decision, or it will bring a decision into play. Look at the globe. I think that this involves it affects more than just one tiny area. Wonder if it isn't volcanic activity. Or who's to say it's just one thing? Maybe it will be a layer of things. But the sudden calm is disrupted by a building tension, that something that happened swiftly in the past, in the recent past. There's a 10 of Cups. Next to that, there's, I feel like it's a populated area. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I feel like there's families, people that have been there for a long time. Generations, maybe even. Sorry about the background noise. Okay, I'm not quite sure, but it is a 10 card. Here is a 10 card. So something is reaching its peak point. Oh, and it kind of comes to a head. Okay. Sudden. There's the King of Pentacles. Perhaps this is a leader or somebody, wherever this is occurring, that comes into the picture. I'm not sure. Sometimes that card is Trump or some other really greedy politician. Putin sometimes gets it. Those are the main 2. Okay, so in the I think in the concerning it to the populace, there's the card of the 4. We also get a 4. This is interesting. We get a 4. This is typically a card of celebration. Maybe there's some sort of holiday going on, or maybe it's a holiday type of an area that draws tourism. I just, there's kind of that feel to it. But if you look at the present situation, it's relatively calm. It's also a 4. And I do get this sense of a celebration, maybe. I don't know if there's some time of something significant that way. Okay, so let's just keep it in mind. There's this feeling of the people, like it's a beautiful area. People have things relatively calm. I don't know, but that calm is going to change. Ace of Pentacles in the environment. Money. New projects. Maybe it's an area that's up and coming. It could also be that people from around the world will send help, a bit of help. Because there is something that's right on going to happen. This could also be if this is a military style attack or invasion. I'm feeling invasion. This could be the one of the head people involved. Could be their dream to have, if this is not a natural disaster, let's say, and this is a military invasion, this could be somebody's dream to occupy, take, and cause a great deal of pressure. This pressure and oppression could be associated with this man who is looking at territories that he wants to have under his domain. Like world power. He'd like world dominance. I think we know who that is. And it ain't Trump, although he'd love to. He's not capable. But who is? I think we know. Putin. This could be Putin. Something old Pooty does. On the slip sly. That's his way. It wouldn't surprise me a bit. So in the environment, there also might be something that he wants from that environment. Namely, the land. This makes a lot more sense if I put it in that scope. And I feel confident to do so because of this card around here. I think it's something Putin will do. The hopes and fears card, we get the moon. And I think this is the ability to act clandestinely, to be sneaky and shit, to go down this very dark journey. I think there's a desire to instill intimidation, play mind games with people, really like make people fearful on a deep, deep level, subconsciously even, to instill that. I really do. I think he wants that. That would make being able to bring them under control so much easier. And I do think he has definite areas of the world that he wants to control, namely all of it. And would also be the people's fear of having somebody like that controlling you, gaining the upper hand, getting hold of this land, to occupying and taking more and more land. So I think Putin's plan is most definitely to take more and more land. There is conflict. Here is the Ace of Wands. This is activity. This is, well, the Ace of Wands is the element of fire. Mars, war. It can be creatively used to construct, or it can be used to destroy. It's force. And it's going to, when we get this card, I'm thinking this is not a nice force. It's kind of a rush of force. Russia, sorry. No pun intended. Yeah, look at that. It's taking more territory. It, it has a vision. It they have a plan, and they are actively working on it. Putin's actively working on probably many things, especially while Trump is yet still distracting our government and weakening it from responding to Putin with an authoritative, strong, firm sanctions and things that basically stop him, put him in check. Boris Yeltsin's not exactly a great Yeltsin. Oh my God. Anyway, don't want to go there. Can't believe I said Yeltsin. Johnson. Oh. I feel like these are other nations' leaders. Could even be, well, I don't. Baltic states. That's what worries me. Now this here, this could be like leaders of other nearby nations, worried about becoming basically occupied, kidnapped, held against their will. There's some sort of a secret here involving that very nature. 8 of Swords, confinement, being held hostage. I just don't think that other nations are going to get really nervous that surround the Crimea, especially like the Baltic states, of which my family's from, my mother's side. There is some foolishness, though, that will bring in other people fighting to protect their homeland, their motherland. There's a foolish, though, I don't think there's a sense definitely here of somebody not being fully prepared for what, biting off more than they can chew, and it causing them a bit of a problem. Great. Now we have, this is why I'm moving. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. So I feel like Putin is going to be doing something that is further aggression upon Ukraine, and it's going to make other nations that were held hostage, invaded, and occupied, Baltic nations, I'm sure other places around there, nervous, and it should. I do feel like there's skirmishes. I do feel like there's activity. Maybe when Russia starts invading people's airspace, and they've been very aggressive, like with our jets and things like that. I apologize, my stomach's grumbling. I always get that this time of day when I get to film. Brought to you free of charge. But I think they're going to try, they are going to become more active, and I think this is going to make the world kind of stop and take note, and there's reason to pay attention because he's trying to further his advances. I think this is Putin. And I think that people maybe will finally start putting him in check for his aggression. There is celebration, but there is having had a fight. There is having gone through some sort of skirmish or battle. Just let that be the rest of the world being happy. Look at that. Radical change. Radical change. Russia would undergo radical change. I think it will. I think he's going to lose his, I don't know, necessarily die, but at least not maybe necessarily yet, but he could, maybe, I don't know. Definitely an end of some kind here, and going into hiding, going into a more remote area. Then again, it could be him celebrating the conquered territory and causing death and going into a remote area. Oh, I just don't know. There's just this plan that's I feel like a strategy that's been kept in the pocket and intended to, but there is some sort of judgment that comes in from this. His earthly ideas, this power comes from the world outside and puts this in check. There's some juggling here. This is some chaos. This is some going back and forth. Probably heated exchange. There could be still some, crap that he pulls. An offer that is rejected or that is walked away from. Maybe he's given an offer or makes an offer that's rejected. It's like, that's a no. And there's a block to his access of worldly, being the supreme. Putin wants to be the supreme. If he was in an American Horror Story, he'd be the one that, I want to be the supreme. Something gets worked out long term. I almost feel like these smaller nations around that he's picking on, trying to invade, not just picking on, that sounds really trifling. But this could be beefing up of forces to deal with him. This is also a card that I tend to get for Putin because he has a Scorpio moon, and I think emotionally this man is cold as ice. My husband's a Scorpio, by the way. They can be very lovely, but if you get one that's got a really negatively aspected emotional problem, that's not good. My husband's a very, very positive aspect of the Scorpio. This guy, not so much. I'm dealing with, okay, this can be children, this can be memories, childhood. What's he doing? Something from his past. Help. There's something about children that need assistance, giving assistance. There's children, orphanages, I don't know. I feel uncertain as to that. And I don't know if it's him giving the help or asking for help or allowing funds to come to these children. I feel like it's funds that would go to children. Russia's orphanages, I don't know if people are really up to date on how horrible they are. A lot of things in that country, its institutions are really not kept up. And you think ours are bad? Theirs are 10 times worse. Underfunded. Well, this is a positive aspect. There's some sort of healing here. Hope. There's a great deal of emotion around this because there's going to be, I don't know if this is something that takes place in Russia or within its territory or outside of it. Maybe both. I tend to think that we're going to have a cluster of things going on. A cluster of things with him invading more aggressively, kicking up his activities invasively into other territory. The surrounding areas really being more nervous, and then I feel like, in all probability, forces from around the world will come in to kind of help these other surrounding nations that are nervous beef up in response. I'm just not sure, so I'm going to leave it there, and I will come back again on that. Okay, so this is just looking a bit more at Putin directly. I wanted to kind of scrutinize, hey, is this Putin? So I asked, and with the tarot, when you want a really clear answer, you have to ask in a really distinct, clear, pointed question. So you don't just leave it vague, you have to leave it direct. Or not leave it direct, but point it directly. So I pointedly asked, is this event linked to Putin? Is Putin going to do something that causes some big deal here in the near future? And this is what I get. There's a place there. It's going to go from being, once again, we get the kind of a relaxed contentment card to needing help, serious help, because of somebody. I get in cards of invasion. Again, oppression, an activity that is oppressive, that puts people in chains. It is a deliberate, determined energy that moves through, that to occupy, that pentacle, that knight of pentacles. Now, this card keeps coming up. In the environment, the rest of the world looks on going, what are you doing? Now we're going to have to make a decision with you, Putin. The rest of the world looks on to this decision he's made and makes their decisions. As you can see, he has done this with evil intent. It's not by accident. It's not, whoops, how did I end up further in Ukraine or elsewhere? Now, this is in the placement of hopes and fears. He's hoping to act covertly. This is being sneaky as you know what. He is underhandedly in hope of being able to take military control of more area, in my opinion. More land. Look at that card. He goes for it. He feels victorious. There is this will, like I said here, there is this will to achieve a certain goal. But this is also kind of Putin's curse as well. It is going to be his curse, his desires to invade, and I think regain certain points of control around the world. He is crowned